Hello everyone. So today we are going to revise the topic neoplasia. So neoplasia, the term represent the neo means the new and plasia means the tumor. There is the new tumor, growth of the new tumor. Now let's start. So parts of the tumor, first we know the parts of the tumor. So as we see, these were the tumor cells, and in between the tumor cells, this blue structure is the desmoplastic reaction is going to occur between the tumor cells. So in desmoplastic reaction, there is fibrous tissue, there is host response, and there is hard consistency is there. So remember these three: fibrous tissue, host response, and hard consistency is there in the desmoplastic reaction. After that, the tumors commonly showing the desmoplasia. So we must remember the tumors which will show maximum desmoplasia. So there are two examples like the pancreatic adenocarcinoma and cholangiocarcinoma. These two tumors will show the maximum desmoplasia. So cholangio means the bile duct, so pancreatic and cholangiocarcinoma. So pancreatic and cholangiocarcinoma means the bile duct. After that, we have the classification of the neoplasia. So in classification, as we all know, neoplasia is divided into benign and the malignant condition. In the benign neoplasia and the malignant neoplasia, in benign, the suffix which is used is the oma, and malignant is further divided into epithelial malignant and mesenchymal malignant tumor. So in first we do the benign. So in benign, suffix is oma. So example of benign tumors were the lipoma, fibroma, adenoma. Adenoma means the glands. So gland tumor, fat tumor, or fibroma means fiber tumors. So these were the example of the benign tumor. So as I said that the suffix is used in benign tumor is the oma, but there are some exception in which the suffix is oma but they are not the benign tumor. So examples were like lymphoma, melanoma, seminoma, teratoma, and chloroma. These were the exception of the benign tumor because the suffix is used as oma but they are not the benign tumors. So chloroma is basically a AML, acute megakaryocytic leukemia, in soft tissue, and which is seen most common in the orbit involvement is there. Teratoma, which we study in the further, seminoma, tumor of the seminal testes, and melanoma and lymphoma. Let's do the malignant tumor. So as I said, malignant is divided into epithelial and mesenchymal tumor. So in the epithelial malignant tumor, the suffix which is used is the carcinoma. So carcinoma, and mesenchymal, the suffix is used is sarcoma. And if you forget that which is carcinoma and which is sarcoma, remember that in mesenchymal S is coming there. So mesenchymal involved have the suffix sarcoma. So epithelial carcinoma suffix, and in mesenchymal the suffix is sarcoma. So the examples were like in epithelial malignant tumor, examples were squamous cell carcinoma and the adenocarcinoma. And the example of mesenchymal tumors were liposarcoma, fibrosarcoma, and osteosarcoma. So these were the malignant tumors. Now after that we have the teratomas. Teratoma means there is involvement of more than equal to 2 germ layers. If there is involvement of more than equal to 2 germ layers, then it is teratoma. So teratoma is also divided into two types, that were mature teratoma and the immature teratoma. In mature teratoma they were the benign, and immature teratoma were the malignant. So in mature teratoma, cyst is present, like the example like ovary. In ovary cyst will present, so they are known as dermoid cyst because cyst is present there. And the immature teratoma. After that we have the mixed tumor, that is benign mixed tumor. Benign means the suffix is oma. Mixed means that it involves both mesenchymal and epithelial components, both were involved, so it is the mixed tumor. So here the example of the mixed tumor is pleomorphic adenoma. It involves most commonly the salivary gland and the parotid gland. Remember it, pleomorphic adenoma is the example of benign mixed tumor. It is benign. Remember that it is not malignant. Benign mixed tumor. The example is pleomorphic adenoma. Okay. So this is about the classification of the tumors. After that we have some terms like hamartoma and choriostoma. So hamartoma, in Hindi hamartoma means hamara hai, means the tumor origin is from the native to the organs, there is haphazard proliferation of the tissue. So suppose suppose these were the lungs. So in the lungs there is haphazard proliferation of the tissue that is native to the organ. So example is pulmonary hamartoma. So pulmonary hamartoma is hamartoma. So in choriostoma, so the term choriostoma means chori ka hai, means the tissue is coming from some other organs and it get proliferated into another organ. So it is the ectopic tissue. Ectopic tissue means it comes from another organ and it starts growing into another organ. So choriostoma means it's चोरी का है. So example is like ectopic pancreas. So this is about the hamartoma and choriostoma. After that, remember that this is the new term. Hamartomas are now considered as the tumors. Now hamartomas are also considered as the tumors. Now we have to study about the features of the neoplasia. So there are 4 features as we all know: anaplasia, rate of growth, local invasion, and metastasis. So here some one-liners like anaplasia is the hallmark of the neoplasia. So hallmark of neoplasia is anaplasia. And the most reliable sign of malignancy is the metastasis, and the second most reliable sign is local invasion. Local invasion is the second most reliable sign. Most reliable sign is metastasis, and the hallmark of the neoplasia is the anaplasia. So let's begin with the first, that is the anaplasia. So anaplasia means that the loss of differentiation. Anaplasia means loss of differentiation. So let's compare it with the dysplasia and anaplasia. So dysplasia, dys means disordered growth. Anaplasia means loss of differentiation. So dysplasia is basically the partially reversible. It can reversible, but anaplasia is irreversible. Remember this, that dysplasia is partially reversible and anaplasia is irreversible. So on the microscopic examination, we can see that there is loss of the polarity. Suppose these were the normal cells, and after that there is loss of the polarity. They diffuse like. So loss of polarity. And pleomorphism is present, means they are variable in their shape and size. And the NC ratio means nucleus and cytoplasmic ratio is going to increase. As we see, this is the normal cells, and after there is dysplasia or anaplasia, the nucleus will going to enlarge and the cytoplasm is also going to decrease. So there is increase in the nucleus cytoplasmic ratio. So normal it is 1:4 to 1:6, and after the cancer the ratio become 1:1. And there is hyperchromasis also occur, means the color changes to the dark blue as we see here, and the mitosis will going to occur. So these were the 5 features which we see on the microscopic examination of anaplasia or dysplasia. Please repeat it again. First one is the loss of polarity, pleomorphism, NC ratio increase, hyperchromasis, and mitosis is there. And one more, the differentiation, by how we can differentiate that it is dysplasia or anaplasia. So we can differentiate between both is by basement membrane. So basement membrane. So in the anaplasia there is breaching of the basement membrane, but in the dysplasia there is nothing going to happen with basement membrane. Basement membrane is intact. So this is the difference between the anaplasia and dysplasia. After that, second one is after anaplasia, the second one is the rate of growth. So rate of growth, so the minimum weight for clinical detection is 10 to the power 9 cells, and maximum weight compatible with life is 10 to the power 12 cells, that is approximate 1 kg. So 1 gram is the for clinical detection and 1 kg is for suitable compatible with the life. After that we have the metastasis. So metastasis means all cancers get metastasized except the 2. Remember these 2, so that all cancers metastasize except glioma and basal cell carcinoma. Glioma and basal cell carcinoma. Remember these. Glioma and basal cell carcinoma. Now we are going to learn about the pathways of the spread of the tumor. So first one is the lymphatics. As we already told that the malignant tumors were divided into epithelial and mesenchymal tumors. So all carcinoma except HCC and RCC, means all the epithelial tumors get spreaded by lymphatics except the HCC and RCC because they both spread through hematogenous spread. So HCC and RCC spread through hematogenous. And we must remember the one point that there is sentinel lymph node. Sentinel lymph node is that lymph node in which first lymph node have to drain the area which receive lymphatic drainage from an organ. Means the first lymph node which is present near to the organs, means the first lymphatic drainage is going to into that organ, that is known as sentinel lymph node. So because it is important in surgeries like breast, colon or vulval cancers, that's why we know about the sentinel lymph node, the first lymph node to be drained by the lymphatic drainage from an organ. Second one is the hematogenous spread. Hematogenous spread means the spread is from the blood vessels, and in it veins are mostly involved as compared to arteries because veins are thin walled, so tumor can easily enter into the blood vessels of the veins. And hematogenous spread includes all the carcinoma were spread through the lymphatics, and all the sarcoma spread through the hematogenous, except the rhabdomyosarcoma and synovial sarcoma because these two were spread through the lymphatics. Remember these two also, rhabdomyosarcoma and synovial sarcoma spread through the lymphatics. And the third way of spread of the tumor is direct seeding of the body cavity. Direct seeding of body cavity means via the peritoneal cavity there is direct transfer. So example is pseudomyxoma peritonei, and in peritoneal cavity the most common involve the appendix carcinoma or ovarian carcinoma. These were the examples of the direct seeding of the body cavity: appendix and ovarian, peritoneal cavity, so pseudomyxoma peritonei. Because they were not the tumor of the peritoneal cavity, they come from the appendix or somewhere other organs. Next one is the transcoelomic spread. So in transcoelomic spread, trans means the transport and coelomic means body cavity, means the tumor is going to transfer from the body cavity to another organ and reach to the another organ. So the example for this is the Krukenberg tumor. So Krukenberg tumor of the ovary, basically the gastric cancer, the cancer is present in the stomach, but it through the body cavity it reaches to the ovary. So this is known as the Krukenberg tumor of the ovary because the tumor transfer via the body cavity. This is the example of transcoelomic spread. After that, there were some tumors which get metastasized into the bones, and the trick for this is public toilet. P for prostate cancer, B for breast cancer, L for lung cancer, I for intestinal cancer, K for kidney, and T for thyroid. So these were the tumors which metastasize into the bones: public toilet, prostate cancer, breast cancer, lung cancer, intestinal cancer, kidney and thyroid. And the tumors, as we know, the bones have the osteoblastic and osteolytic properties. Osteoblastic and osteolytic reactions is going to occur in the bone. So in the public means P, first one tumors is involve the osteoblast, and second and third means B and L involve both osteoblastic and osteolytic reaction, and in last three osteolytic reaction is occurring. So these were the examples of the tumors which get metastasized into the bones. After that, we have to study the etiology of the cancer. So what are the causes of the cancers? So the cancer's causes were radiation, chemical and microbes. Radiation, chemical and microbes. So let's start with the radiation carcinogenesis. In radiation carcinogenesis, it involves the ultraviolet rays and the infrared rays. Ultraviolet and the infrared rays. So ultraviolet A, ultraviolet B. B means bad. So it involves the basal cell carcinoma. B for bad, B for basal cell carcinoma. Means skin cancer is going to occur by ultraviolet B. The second rays were the infrared rays. So the most common tumor associated with infrared radiation were the AML, and the least the tumor which never associated with infrared radiation were CLL. Remember this question also. CLL never associated with infrared radiation, and the most common associated with infrared radiation is AML. And the Most common thyroid tumor associated with infrared radiation is papillary carcinoma. So these were the questions related to the radiation carcinogenesis. I hope you all clear with it. Now next one is the chemical carcinogenesis, means the tumor involve the chemicals. Tumor is occurring due to the chemicals. So this is given by the Sir Percival Port, or we can say the Sir Port give the chemical carcinogenesis. So the test for mutagenicity is Ames test. In this we use the S-typhy. Now do the chemicals like tobacco. Tobacco cause the oral cancer and the lung cancer. Diethylstilbestrol cause the clear cell tumor of the female genital tract. Estrogen due to estrogen endometrial cancer risk were increases. OCP, oral contraceptive pills, they cause the cervical cancer. Estrogen, E for endometrial cancer, oral contraceptive pill, cervical cancer. After that we have asbestosis. So asbestosis, the most common cancer and most specific cancer. So the most common cancer associated with asbestosis due to asbestosis is lung adenocarcinoma, and most specific is mesothelioma. We can remember it like this: as for specific and as is coming into the mesothelioma. So most specific is mesothelioma, and most common means C, and in lung adenocarcinoma C also comes. So it is the most common cancer of the asbestosis, lung adenocarcinoma and mesothelioma. After that we have the one tumors like angiosarcoma of the liver, which is occurring due to the VAT. We can remember it by a trick. VAT cause the angiosarcoma of the liver. V for vinyl chloride, A for arsenic, and T for thorotrast, radioactive dye. After that we have the microbial carcinogens. So in microbes, they involve the virus, bacteria and parasites. So let's begin with the bacteria. So there is only bacteria, that is H. pylori, and it is the first organisms to be classified as the carcinogens. So we can remember it. The first organisms to be classified as carcinogen is H. pylori. So H. pylori can cause gastric adenocarcinoma and gastric maltoma, which is a lymphoma. So gastric adenocarcinoma and gastric maltoma is occurred by the H. pylori. Now after bacteria we have the virus. So a virus like HTLV1 cause the ATLL, means adult T cell leukemia lymphoma. Hepatitis B virus, C virus, which cause the HCC, that is hepatic cell carcinoma, and human herpes virus 8 cause the Kaposi sarcoma, HHV8, and human papilloma virus involve the two proteins, that those were the E6 and E7. E6 switch of the P53 gene and E7 switch of the RB gene. So human papilloma virus cause the cervical cancer, penile cancer, anal cancer and HN cancer. So after that we have the Epstein-Barr virus cancer. So Epstein-Barr virus cause the cancer. So in this, the gene of Epstein-Barr virus is LMP1 gene. Remember this also. And the receptors for Epstein-Barr virus is CD21 and CR2. CD21 and CR2 is the receptor of Epstein-Barr virus. And what are the gene of Epstein-Barr virus? That is LMP1 gene. So Epstein-Barr virus cause the nasopharyngeal carcinoma, Burkitt lymphoma, Hodgkin lymphoma, post-transplant lymphoma. All these involve the Epstein-Barr virus is the risk factor for all this. Nasopharyngeal carcinoma, which was first reported in the China, Burkitt lymphoma, Hodgkin lymphoma and post-transplant lymphoma. The diseases which were caused by the Epstein-Barr virus is infectious mononucleosis, that is kissing disease. So on the microscopic examination, we found the downy cell and the Bellarian skirt appearance is seen on the microscopic examination. And the test which is done for Epstein-Barr virus is Paul-Bunel test, that is monosput test. Paul-Bunel test or monosput test. Remember this also. Downy cells and ballerina skirt appearance is seen in microscopy, and tests were Paul-Bunel test and monosput test. After that we have, after virus we have the parasite. So there are involvement of two parasites, those were schistosomiasis and clonorachis. So schistosomiasis, S for cystosomiosis, and S for squamous cell carcinoma of the urinary bladder. Remember it, here is urinary bladder, not the lungs. So parasite cystosomiasis, S for cystosomiasis, S for squamous cell carcinoma of urinary bladder. C for clonorachis and C for cholangiocarcinoma. C for cholangiocarcinoma, which show the maximum dysplasia reaction. Okay. After that, we have the fundamentals of the neoplasia. So in the fundamentals of neoplasia, it involves the 8 fundamentals of neoplasia. First one is the self-sufficiency of the growth signals. After that, inactivation of the tumor suppressor gene. After that, we have the limitless replicative potential of the tumor cells, and there is evasion from apoptosis, angiogenesis, invasion and metastasis, DNA repair defect, and the Warburg effect. So let's start with the self-sufficiency of the growth signals. So in the self-sufficiency of growth signals means the tumor cells want to become the independent in our body. So normally what will happen, that there is growth factor, and growth factor receptors are present on the cells. From the growth factor receptor, the signal is going to the signal transducing proteins. After that, the nuclear transcription factors, and after that cell cycle will begin. So basically there is going to mutation in this. That's how the cells becomes the independent from our body. So growth factor mutation is occurring. So the receptors, the genes which were present in the growth factors were cis gene and HGF gene, means hepatocyte growth factor gene. So there is mutation is occurring. Mutation, I am going to represent mutation by M. So cis gene mutation, HGF mutation. Cis gene, S for cis, S for astrocytoma. So the cis gene mutation causes the astrocytoma, and HGF gene mutation will show the HCC, hepatic cell carcinoma. Okay. After that, we have the growth factor receptors. So there is also mutation is going to occur in the growth factor receptors, and we have the growth factor receptors like EGFR1, EGFR2 and RET. So after their mutation, EGFRN1 mutation, lung cancer will occur. In the HER2 new, means the breast cancer will occur, EGFR2 HER2 new mutation, and if there is RET mutation, then medullary carcinoma of thyroid will occur. Medullary carcinoma of thyroid. After the growth factor receptors, the signal went to the signal transduction proteins, and the signal transduction proteins were RAS and ABL gene. So ABL gene, as we already study about the ABL gene, it causes the Philadelphia chromosomes, that is CML, which we will see in the CML. Translocation of 9 to 22 chromosome, BCR-ABL will form, and which is known as Philadelphia chromosomes, and CML is seen. In CML we see it. And the next one is the RAS. So in RAS, the most common oncogene, it is the most common oncogene mutated in the human tumors. So RAS gene is the most common mutation which will occur in our human body. So for the RAS, we have 3: KRAS, HRAS and RAS. We can remember it like Khan. For RAS, Khan, 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 KHN. KRAS is for clip. We can remember it with the district clip. C for colon, L for lung, I for pancreatic. It is H for, we can write H by like this, so we can make it kidney. So HRAS cause the kidney and urinary bladder cancer, and NRAS cause the melanoma and AML, and we can make by NM, so melanoma and AML. This is about the RAS gene mutation. KRAS, HRAS and RAS. H for kidney, urinary bladder. K clip, colon, lung, pancreatitis. N we can make M, melanoma, AML. After that, we have nuclear transcription factor. In nuclear transcription factor, we have MYC gene. So MYC gene, if there is MYC gene were 3 types like N, C, L, MYC. So we can remember it like colon, COLON, C for CMYC, LMYC, NMYC, N for NMYC, N for neuroblastoma, L for LMYC, L for lung cancer, so small cell lung cancer, and C for CMYC, Burkitt lymphoma. If there is CMYC mutation, then Burkitt lymphoma will form. After that, there is cell cycle is occur. So in cell cycle, as we know, G0, G1, S, G2, M phase were there. So G0 to G1, there is variable time, and after that we have 6 hour, 4 hour, and 2 hour. S gene, after the S gene, there is no point of return, means irreversible will occur after this point S gene. So G2 and M were the most radiosensitive phase, and G0 and G1 is the variable time is there in G0 and G1. So now we have some questions, one liners like most radiosensitive tumor is the Ewing sarcoma, and most radiosensitive testicular tumor is the seminoma, and most radiosensitive cell is lymphocytes, and least sensitive cell is the platelets. So least radiosensitive cell is platelets. Please remember these points. These were very highlighted points which I am going to tell you. So most radiosensitive tumor is Ewing sarcoma, most radiosensitive testicular tumor is seminoma, most radiosensitive cell is lymphocytes, and least radiosensitive cell is platelets. So here from the G1S and G2M, there were 2 checkpoints is present in the cell cycle. First checkpoint is at G1 S phase, and second checkpoint is at G2 and M phase. So here P53 is common in both, but in G1 and S there is RB gene is present. Remember it, this point, that RB gene is involved in the first checkpoint, that is G1 to S. So there is cell cycle progression. For cell cycle progression, we have cyclin and CDK. So cyclin, we can remember it by this DEAB, deep, and 4221. Please remember it as it is DEAB and 4221. So suppose this is a cell cycle, we can make G1 as G2M. G1 as G2M. From G1 to S, there is we can write it here DEAB 4221. So cyclin D and 4 CDK 4. So from here cyclin D CDK 4. Next cyclin E CDK 2. After that cyclin A and CDK 2. Cyclin A CDK 2, and the last cyclin B and CDK 1 is there. So after that, to stop the cell cycle, we have the cyclin CDK inhibitors. To stop the cell cycle, we have CDK inhibitors. Those were the CYP family and INK4 ARF family. CYP family involve the stop cell involve P21, P27 and P57. INK4 ARF involve the P16 and P14. Please remember this. P21 is the most common. So P21, P27 and 57. 21, 27, 57. CYP family. INK4 ARF means 4 means 14, 16. P14, P16 in INK4 ARF family. If there is the mutation in the cyclin D, if there is mutation in cyclin D mutation is there, then mantle cell lymphoma will going to occur. So cyclin D mutation cause the mantle cell lymphoma. After that, we have the second, that is the inactivation of the tumor suppressor gene. So in inactivation of tumor suppressor gene, so these were the tumor suppressor genes, and I am going to tell you the location where they were present. Please remember it. It is very important for all of us to give, because they might become in exam. So inactivation of tumor suppressor gene. So first one is the P53. P53 is present on the chromosome 17 and on the short arm, that is P. So P53 chromosome 17P. RB gene is present on chromosome 13q14, NF1, NF2, BRCA1 and BRCA2. So for 1 chromosome 17, and for neurofibromatosis 2, there is 2 double it 22 chromosome present on chromosome 22, and for BRCA2 it is present on chromosome 13. So remember it like this, like NF, here is 1 and here is 2. So NF1 is present on chromosome 17, NF2 is present on chromosome 22. BRCA1 is present on 17 and BRCA2 is present on chromosome 13. After that, we have the WT1 gene and WT2 gene. Both were present on the chromosome 11. APC gene is present on chromosome 5q. P10 means 10. So it is present on chromosome 10. And E-cadherin is present on the chromosome 11. E4, 11. So E-cadherin is present on chromosome 11. So these were the tumor suppressor gene. Now, let's read about the P53 gene, APC gene, P10 gene and RB gene. So these were the some features, like p53 gene is present on chromosome 17 and on the short arm. So on the short arm, and p53 gene is also known as guardian of the genome, gatekeeper of genome, or policeman of genome. So there is ultraviolet radiation. Due to the ultraviolet, there is cells get damaged and they send a signal to the p53, and p53 is going to stop the cell cycle by the p21. As I already told, SIP family p21, 27 and 57. So stop cycle by the p21, and it repair the cell by GADD 45. The cell repair is done by GADD 45, and after that there is resume of the cell cycle. Again the cell cycle will start. First p53 stop the cell cycle by the p21, and after that there is repair is going to occur, and after repair the cell cycle again resumed. So the disease which is associated with p53 is Li-Fraumeni syndrome. Li-Fraumeni syndrome. For this, please remember B. Li-Fraumeni syndrome, B. Everything starts with B, B, B. Bone, blood, breast, brain. Bone, blood, breast, brain. So these were the Li-Fraumeni syndrome. After that, we have the HPV. For HPV, we have E6 and E7. E6 as it includes P53 and E7 RBG. So this is about, and P73 is the big brother of P53. This is about the P53 associated disease. And in HPV basically E6 and E7 both get mutated, and there is mutation of the P53 and RB gene. So next one is the RB gene. So RB gene is present on the chromosome 13q and 14. So it is basically known as the governor of the genome. So governor of genome is the RB gene, as Reserve Bank of India is the governor of India, is present in Reserve Bank of India, something like that. So RB gene is the governor of genome. So in the normal condition, RB gene is hypophosphorylated, means it binds with the E2F factor. So RB gene is bind with the E2F factor and it is hypophosphorylated normally. And after there is the phosphate, in the presence of phosphate, it gets converted into the hyperphosphorylated state, and E2F gets separated, and E2F enter the cell cycle and cell proliferation will occur. After that, we have the tumor retinoblastoma. So in tumor retinoblastoma, there is hypothesis, Knudsen-to-Hit hypothesis, and the loss of heterozygosity, which we can also represent by LOH, loss of heterozygosity. And on the microscopic examination, we see the true tumors. The name is Flexner-Wintersteiner rosettes. True rosette, Flexner-Wintersteiner rosettes. So retinoblastoma is of two types, familial and sporadic. In the familial, both the eyes were involved, means bilateral, and in sporadic, only one eye is involvement there, that is unilateral. So associated with other tumor, that is pinealoblastoma and osteosarcoma. So there is trilateral retinoblastoma is also present. It means that bilateral means that is familial retinoblastoma plus pinealoblastoma. It is known as trilateral retinoblastoma. After that, we have APC gene. APC gene involved present on the chromosome 5 and on the long arm, that is Q. If there is gene mutation, APC gene mutation, then FAP is going to happen, means familial adenomatous polyposis. It is the tumor of the colon. More than 100 polyps were involved, and colon cancer, FAP gene. After that, we have P10. P10 involved the chromosome 10, that is Cowden. Learn it like this: P10 Cowden chromosome 10. P10 chromosome 10 Cowden syndrome. So tumor P10. P represent the B, so it is breast cancer. T for thyroid, and EN means endometrial cancer is there. So P10 gene involvement. So Cowden syndrome. In Cowden syndrome, we have 10 like P10, like breast cancer is there, thyroid cancer is there, and endometrial cancer is there. After that, we have E-cadherin. E for 11, so it is present on the chromosome 11. So E-cadherin means basically it joins the two cell adhesion molecules. E-cadherin is the cell adhesion molecules. So it the two molecules were attached by the E-cadherin. So If there is decrease of E cadherin, then cancer will occur and invasive lobular carcinoma or other diffuse gastric cancer will occur. After that we have third, that is limitless replicative potential, means the cell becomes the limitless, means they replicate. There is no stoppage of those cells because there is increase the expression of telomerase activity, means the cell become the immortal by the telomerase enzyme. Fourth one is the evasion from apoptosis by increasing the anti-apoptotic factors, and anti-apoptotic factors were like BCL2, BCLXL, like this. So example is BCL2 by increasing anti-apoptotic factor. Example is like follicular lymphoma, in which there is translocation of 14:18, and in this increase of the level of the BCL2, which is anti-apoptotic, and cancer will form. So evasion from apoptosis, example is follicular lymphoma. After that there is angiogenesis, formation of lot of blood vessels. So factors which promote the vascular endothelial growth factor, which promote the angiogenesis, and the factors which inhibit the angiogenesis. So promote were the VEGF, vascular endothelial growth factors, and the inhibitor were vascular endothelial growth factor, and the inhibitors were like statin is coming at the suffix, so endostatin, vasculostatin, or angiostatin. These inhibit the angiogenesis. And there is one, the most important, thrombospondin. Please remember it, thrombospondin is also the inhibitor of angiogenesis. There were two terms like thrombospondin and thrombostanin. So in the thrombospondin, it is the inhibitor of the angiogenesis, and thrombostanin is the contractile protein of the platelets. So stanin is the contractile protein of the platelets, and thrombospondin is the inhibitor of angiogenesis. After that we have the invasion and metastasis. So invasion and metastasis is occur by the 4 steps. So first there is these were the tumor cells which were attached by the E cadherin. So if there is decrease of the E cadherin, means the detachment of tumor cells will occur. So this is the first step, that is detachment of tumor cells by decreasing the E cadherin. And now the tumor cells were going to bind to the extracellular matrix by integrins. So integrins help in their binding. So after that they were bind to the extracellular matrix by integrins. After that there is degradation of the extracellular matrix by the MMP2 and 9. MMP means matrix metalloproteinase, which is the most important. 9 is the most important, remember it. After the degradation of extracellular matrix, the tumor cells enter into the blood vessels. As we see here, tumor cells enter into the blood vessels, and from the blood vessels spread to the different organs, and metastasis will occur. So these were steps of the invasion and metastasis. First there is detachment, after that adhesion to the ECM, and after that there is degradation of ECM, and then the tumor cells enter into the blood vessels and spread to the other organs. After that the 7th one is the DNA repair defects. DNA repair defect, which is done by the NER, MMR, and homologous recombination. So NER means nucleotide excision repair, MMR means mismatch repair, and there is homologous recombination. So let's start first discuss about the NER. So it is nucleotide excision repair. Under the ultraviolet rays there is the pyrimidine dimers were formed, and which is excised by the NER genes. So if there is NER gene defect, then the skin cancer will occur. Which skin cancer? Xeroderma pigmentosa. So xeroderma pigmentosa occur by the defect in the NER, nucleotide excision repair, means there is more and more formation of the pyrimidine dimers. Remember it, it is pyrimidine dimers. After that there is MMR. So in the MMR gene defect, so mismatch repair gene defect, so basically what will happen? So as we know that in DNA, A combined with T, C, G, A, T, C, G. If instead of, in the place of the T, instead of T there is G will come. If G will come, then there is mismatch is going to happen, which is corrected by the mismatch repair gene. It is also known as spell checkers or proofreaders. Proofreaders were mismatch repair gene. So if there is gene defect, then HNPCC will occur, means hereditary non-polyposis colon cancer, or we can either say it Lynch syndrome. So Lynch syndrome or HNPCC. So in this, remember CEO means there is cancer of colon, endometrial cancer and ovarian cancer. In Lynch syndrome, or we can say HNPCC, CEO is there, means colon, endometrial and ovarian cancer is there. After the MMR gene, we have homologous recombination. So let's NER have the xeroderma pigmentosa. MMR cause the Lynch syndrome or HNPCC. Lynch syndrome is the autosomal dominant and all other are the autosomal recessive except the Lynch syndrome. Remember this point. After that, we have the homologous recombination. In this, please remember FAB, F for Fanconi anemia, A for ataxia-telangiectasia, B for Bloom syndrome. Fanconi anemia, ataxia-telangiectasia, Bloom syndrome. And ataxia-telangiectasia is associated with chromosome 11q22, and related to it, we have the Digeorge syndrome, in which there is chromosome 22q and 11, means reversible of these two numbers. So here I wrote in a table like ataxia-telangiectasia, 11q22 is there, and in Digeorge syndrome, means di means 2, means first 22 comes and after that 11 comes, and A comes at the first place, that's why in this 11 comes first and after that 22. Under the presence of ultraviolet rays, there is double stranded DNA break, and which repair is done by the homologous recombination. Now the last one is the Warburg effect. Warburg effect, which is given by the scientist Warburg, and it is also known as the glucose hunger, means the tumor cells were hungry of the glucose. So we can identify them by PET scan, which is also known as FDG, PET scan, fluorodeoxyglucose injection we can give, and the cell eat up all the glucose. That's how we identify them. After that, we have the diagnosis of the tumor. So for the diagnosis of tumor, some tumor markers are present. So for tumor like beta HCG marker is for choriocarcinoma, calcitonin is for medullary carcinoma of thyroid, catecholamines were present markers for pheochromocytoma, alpha fetoprotein, this is alpha fetoprotein, which is the marker of HC hepatic cell carcinoma, hepatoblastoma and Yorkshire tumor. CEO means carcinoembryogenic antigen is marker for colon cancer. NSE, neuron specific annulose, is marker for neuroblastoma and neuroendocrine tumor. Prostate specific antigen is the marker for the prostate cancer, and CA125 is marker of ovarian cancer. So remember, for ovarian cancer CA125. Pancreatic cancer CA19-9. As we reverse the 9, we see the P. So CA19-9 represent the tumor of the pancreatic cancer. Tumor marker of pancreatic cancer is CA19-9. Tumor marker of the ovarian cancer is the CA125. And for the breast cancer, we have CA15-3. So please remember all these tumor markers. You can take one screenshot also here, that the tumor markers. After that, we have the biopsy. So for the diagnosis, biopsy is the gold standard is the biopsy, that is IHC, immunohistochemistry. So special stain is done like immunohistochemistry, cytokeratin and vimentin. Vimentin is done for the sarcoma, for the mesenchymal tumors, vimentin, and for the carcinoma, cytokeratin is there. For the melanoma, HMB45, and for the muscle tumor, desmin is there. Example is rhabdomyosarcoma, desmin. So these were the stains. After that, we have the paraneoplastic syndrome. So paraneoplastic syndrome means sign and symptoms associated with the tumor. So in the most common PNS represent the paraneoplastic syndrome. So most common PNS is the hypercalcemia, and most common tumor associated with PNS is the lung cancer. Remember it, lung cancer is the most common tumor associated with PNS. So let's revise the PNS. So hypercalcemia, examples lung cancer, breast cancer, RCC. Cushing syndrome, lungs, RCC. SIADH, syndrome of inappropriate antidiuretic hormone, is present in lung cancer. Hypoglycemia, PNS, fibrosarcoma, acanthosis nigricans, lung cancer, gastric cancer, myasthenia gravis, and PRCA means pure red cell aplasia is seen in thymoma. So the paraneoplastic syndrome. So most common myasthenia gravis and PRCA thymoma. Trozier phenomena is seen in migratory thrombophlebitis, lung cancer and pancreatic cancer. Thrombus and inflammation of veins is seen in migratory thrombophlebitis. And there is one missed question, that is spontaneous regression is done in which tumor? Which tumor shows the spontaneous regression? So the answer is neuroblastoma. Neuroblastoma shows the spontaneous regression. So remember this point also. So this is all about the neoplasia. I hope you all get benefit of this video. Thank you.